Assalamu alaikum and welcome again to ChadNass TV. I'm so happy to talk to you today. My lesson will be a continuation to my last lessons concerning the national exams and some exercises that students may encounter during the national exam. So today I've chosen some special and some exceptions or some cases concerning these lessons. I'm talking about reported speech, I'm talking about the passive voice, I'm talking about the use of which and if only, and so on. Okay. So we're going to continue and see the first sentence where we have this example, the sentence. Many employers are still recruiting children. And they give us children to start with children. Now we should ask ourselves, what do we need exactly? Do we need the reported speech? Do we need what exactly? Conditional type 3? So we have to be sure. So as I said in my previous lessons, we should notice, we should analyze the sentence and see the possession of children. And children is here. So if we analyze the sentence, we can see that many employers is subject and the verb is recruiting and are recruiting, which is present continuous, and then children recruiting whom? Recruiting children. So children is an object. So we need the passive voice. Pay attention to when moving from passive to active to the compound. Our recruiting is a compound tense. I mean by compound tense, auxiliary and a verb, because there are simple tenses and compound tenses. The compound tense is when we have auxiliary and a verb, and this is present continuous, auxiliary and verb. So we need what? We have to keep the same tense in passive voice, but we need some changes. Children is object and it is new subject. And are still, we should not ignore this, still, are still being. Now, to be should take the form of the verb, the active verb, which is ing. Are still being, and then recruit in past participle. Are being recruited by many employers. Now we have a passive voice from the sentence. Now if you move to the following sentence, we have I didn't see the film last night. Notice here we have inverted commas, which means that we have reported speech. So we need all things necessary for making from moving from direct to indirect speech, including tense changes, expressions of time changes, and so on. Okay. So, but first of all, we have to see the tense. I didn't see, which is a simple past. And we know that simple past in reported speech becomes what? Becomes a past perfect. Okay? So, I didn't see the film last night. Naima told Muhammad that she. Now see and negative. See in past participle, and don't forget the negative. That she hadn't seen the film. The film last, we should not say last, but it becomes the previous night. Now, that's what we need in this sentence. This change of tense means simple past becomes past perfect, and last becomes previous. Number 3. Paula is young, yet she is often stressed. In Arabic, Paula هي فتاة شابة، ولكن رغم الشباب فهي دائما قلقة ومكتئبة. Stressed. So they ask us to begin with in spite of. Remember what we said about in spite of. It's a linking word, especially it is a concession linking words. It links between two opposed sentences. In spite of, but something else to know about in spite of is we have of, means we need either a noun or a gerund form. So we can say, for example, if you want, we can make the verb to be into gerund form. So in spite of being. So we have worked on the verb to be, and we make it into gerund form. In spite of being young, now we are obliged to mention the person. We cannot say she. Okay, we are going to mention because we don't know the person whom we are talking about. So in spite of being young, Paula is often stressed. That's it. So we are dealing here, we have dealt with the linking word of concession, and we should remember all things that needed to use this linking words. Number 4, shall we live in the country? Shall we live in the country? Remember that shall is used only with the first person singular and first person plural. We can say shall I or shall we. So shall we live in the country? Here it's a reporting verb. It's a reported speech, and the reporting verb is suggested. And we said in my lesson concerning the reporting verbs, suggested may need two things. Okay, either suggest that or suggest plus gerund. So we can say this: the husband suggested living in the country. So we have worked on the verb live and we make it into gerund form. Number 5, sociologists are conducting research studies about immigrants in France nowadays. Sociologists علماء الاجتماع كيقوموا بدراسة بحث على المهاجرين في فرنسا في هذه السنين الأخيرة nowadays. Okay. So we have here research studies. The same thing. We should, before doing anything, we should find the possession of this research studies in the sentence. And we know that it is after the verb. So if it is immediately after the verb, so it is object. And now we can talk about passive voice. So it becomes research studies. We can add here about, yes, why not, about immigrants in France. And then we apply the rule now. So we have are conducting. So it is like this here. It is a compound tense, means there is auxiliary and there is a verb. And it is a present continuous. So research studies about immigrants in France are being conducted by sociologists. Now, and number 6 now, look at this exception here. I've chosen to talk about this because it's a question. Where did you buy this bike? You should pay attention in reported speech when we have a question, because there are different ways or different kinds of questions in reported speech. And here I have chosen this one. Look, it's a WH question. Where did you buy this bike? And they ask us to report. The reporting verb is this one. He wanted to know. He wanted to know. Now needs what? So where did you buy this bike? So we have did is simple past, and we know that simple past becomes past perfect. And pay attention to this. We need to change this. So it becomes, he wanted to know where. We are going to keep the same question, but we need some change. Where, so he wanted to know where I had bought that bike. Okay? He wanted to know where so we need this change between subject and the verb. Where I boy. You cannot say where did I. No, where I had bought that bike. Look at the following. It was wrong of them to hide the truth. It was wrong of them to hide the truth. In Arabic كانوا مخطئين أنهم ما قالوش الحقيقة. Okay. ما كانوش خصهم يخبيوا الحقيقة. So we are now here. They ask us to begin with. They shouldn't. And should is a model which is used to give advice. But the context is in the past. Remember the lesson about modals, present modal and past modal. I said that if the context is in the past, we need past modal. And past modal, some modals are formed with the modal plus have plus past participle. So we say they shouldn't have what? They shouldn't have. It was wrong to hide. They shouldn't have hid. They shouldn't have hidden, or they shouldn't have hidden the truth. Means it's a kind of blaming someone. When you say to someone, you shouldn't have done this, you say as if you are blaming someone why he did this, he behaved so. Okay, so this one is a kind of blaming. They shouldn't have hidden the truth. Means they should, but the reality is that they hid the truth. They didn't say the truth. Okay, so that's all for today, and I hope you have retained some of these exceptions, and you try to pay more attention to these exceptions. So at the end, I'd like to say thank you for watching and wish you a nice day.